Good morning. I don't know if I'm going to do this on Patreon or the main podcast thing, but we are on our morning walk, so this audio is probably not going to be fantastic. But good morning. We are back on our morning walks. Well, we did morning walks the past 2 weeks while Mark was on vacation, but it was not every morning prior to Mark's little vacation, which meant I took a mini quasi vacation. We didn't really ever miss a morning walk. The three of us, me, Henry, and I almost said Izzy, but Indiana. And then when Mark was on his past 2-week vacation, he basically stayed at my house the whole time, and we definitely slept in. And that was nice. That's okay. But now we are back on our regimented schedule, morning and night walks. That's more 2 walks a day is more for me and my waistline than the dogs, although Henry loves it. Indiana is still undecided. Good girl. She's doing very good on the leash this morning, though. How was everyone's weekend? I hope wonderful. We did a little Death by Southwest drinks, and 2 beautiful listeners showed up. And I'm grateful to both of them. It was really nice to get to know them. Sandra and Laura. So thank you to both of you guys. I had such a wonderful time. Me and Mark were both I was like, all right, well, it'll be an hour, you know? First of all, I guess I didn't officially post about it until the day before. And it's the holidays, which I forget everyone has parties and family and things like that. So not that Laura and Sandra weren't enough. They absolutely were. I quite frankly thought there's a good chance that 0 people will show up, which also would have been totally understandable. But I thought, if anybody shows up, we'll go for 1 hour, have a drink or 2, meet people, and then go on our way. Meet whoever's there. And we ended up staying for 5 hours or something crazy, and had a very lovely time. So definitely, I think we will. Definitely, we are planning to do it again after the holidays. Come on, Indiana. It's okay. She scared something and running into me. Yeah, I think we'll do it again after the holidays, and this time I'll announce it much, much sooner, and actually get a reservation. There was a giant holiday party at Culinary Dropout, so half of the restaurant was roped off and reserved. So Laura and her husband actually got there before us and texted me on our Google number and was like, yeah, there's no tables, there's no reservations, it's just in the bar. So it was fine. I thought it was lovely to sit in the bar, but if there was any more than just a couple of people, then that's not great because nobody can really talk to each other. And honestly, this is, I was going to say just as much. It's probably more about just everybody meeting, not Mark and I meeting people, or not just Mark and I meeting people, but it's hard to meet people. So it's not if you can meet other people who you at least have one similar interest, and that's that you don't absolutely despise and hate my podcast, then that's kind of a good start to get to know people. So yeah, that's basically, we will do it again. This is crazy. I'm going to have to stop this to take a picture. So my favorite house in the dirt roads, there's 2. we've shown you guys like our favorite. It's kind of off the dirt roads. It's right at the end of them and around the corner. Come on, Henry. Anyways, hold on. I'll be okay. Our favorite, like, I think it's estimated to be like 1.1 million or something. So I'm going to say, no, I was going to say unreasonable house, but I guess both of the houses that we love are unreasonable. I don't know what you think's coming up behind us, little girl, but there is nothing. So there's this other house that we have passed by, I don't know, a million times. And I never noticed it. And then, I don't know why, but a couple weeks ago, I guess we were walking when it was light out, so it must have been morning. And I happened to see the house from the front. I always look at it from the side because it's right on the corner of two dirt roads. This is fascinating content, I know. And I happened to look at it from the front and was like, wow, this house is so beautiful. And so now I've really been looking, and then I also found it online just because I don't know, who doesn't love looking at beautiful homes? I rent my home and have never owned a home by myself and can't imagine that I will in this lifetime, but who knows? But this house just there are no pictures of the inside online, so I don't know. I can only imagine, but there are descriptions of it. And it's on like 1.6 acres. It's a great piece of property. I'd imagine you could probably have horses on this property. And the house is just this ranch style, Spanish style, sprawling. I don't know. It looks amazing. I guess it could be absolute crap inside. But you can find all the information on it, which is so interesting. And apparently the last time it sold was 1978, and it's had the same owners since then. And when they bought it in 1978, I think they bought it, oh God, I'm not going to remember. I want to say for like $28,000 or something, like something crazy inexpensive. And today it's worth, $850, which I guess isn't like that ridiculous. 1978 was, almost 50 years ago. So, but it is just I love it so much. Anyways, the whole point of all of this is that there's a for sale sign. And it's funny because Mark and I just maybe last week were talking about how I was like, well, we're pretending. I could no more buy a house right now than I could buy, anything. I don't know. So we're joking, and I'm like, oh, well, last time it sold was 1978, but these owners are going to pass it down to their kids and grandkids, and there goes our chances of owning our dream home in the dirt roads, which is obviously joking because I couldn't buy a small shack in a bad neighborhood of Tucson. But yeah, it's for sale. It's listed for sale right now, which is, it's listed for sale by the same company that my real estate company that my dad, I don't want to say works for, because I feel like he kind of works for himself. Well, he wishes he didn't work at all. He'd love to be retired. And so I'm going to ask him if there's any way I know that that's terrible, and people who are selling homes hate it. Like, just looky-loos, who are just coming just to look at the house and have no intention of buying it. That's me for sure. But I'm going to ask my dad if he can take me anyways, because I want to see. That was a very long explanation for something not very exciting. What else? Uh-oh, garbage truck. Indiana's going to have a panic attack. You're okay. What else? Did I talk about my giant? Yeah, I guess I did. I posted on Instagram about my giant fall, which I'm just now finally feeling like, okay, if I brush up against something with my right side, I'm not dying. Like, I can survive. Whereas, yesterday, the day before that, still so sore and so bruised. It hurt to if someone breathed on the right side of my body wrong. But healing much more. I thought I'm going to have permanent shoulder damage for sure, which I was trying not to think about because I finally am, girl, Indiana. Good girl. Oh my gosh, the fire truck, the garbage truck just walked by us. Wow. Walked by us, drove by us, and Indiana had only a mild panic attack. Sorry for the sniffles. It's pretty cold. But beautiful. It's like 7 a.m., I guess. Our walks are getting later because it is pitch black at 5:30 when we used to go. Even honestly at 6. At 6:30, it's just starting to get light. So, I thought I was going to have permanent shoulder damage because it hurt so bad. I felt like I really kind of knocked something out of place or something. And, without health insurance, I was concerned that would suck. And I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. I know everyone's worrying. It still, I guess, could not completely heal, but it feels like it is. And I was so trying not to think about it because I was so frustrated because I finally am making a teensy tiny dent in my, weight loss, get a little bit more fit goals. And if this fall from stupidly sprinting, well, not stupidly, we were having a lot of fun, but that's what happened for people who aren't on Instagram. Mark and I were walking the dogs, the dirt roads one morning, and we always talk about who's a faster runner, me or him, but we've never really run against each other. And so we took off sprinting, him with Indiana and me with Henry. And I was 100% faster. But then Henry crossed right in front of me, unknowing that I don't have cat-like reflexes. And I tripped directly over him and slid down the dirt road on my right side and right shoulder. But, all that to say that my old body it's not too old yet. I noticed getting over being sick, getting over, stepping incorrectly on my ankle, turning my neck too quickly, like any little thing nowadays in my 40s, it is not such an easy, quick heal. It takes, a little bit longer. So just another fun fact of getting older. Really love it. I can see my face literally starting to drop in the mirror before my eyes. And it's not a great way to start the morning, so we'll move on to a different topic. It's Christmas time. I have such mixed feelings about Christmas, and I know that, God, I wish I had this podcast back when I lived in Atlanta because I spent I spent several Christmases in a row totally alone with the pups, and Thanksgivings and birthdays and everything. I really spent all of my time alone. Oh no, here comes the garbage truck again. And it was sad for sure, but Christmas has since our mom died, it's never quite been the same. Certainly the first few years weren't, because, for obvious reasons, I feel like it doesn't need really an explanation, but my mom was Jewish and raised Jewish, but absolutely loved Christmas. And hold on guys, there's beer cans somebody just left in the fucking road. We're gonna throw them away in this here garbage can. Because gross. Okay, there we go. So even though she was raised Jewish, she always loved Christmas. I think they perhaps celebrated Christmas a little bit, not in any type of religious way, just in the commercial Christmas way. And come on, Indiana, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. And she loved it. She always loved it. And then, whenever she met my dad, he was raised Catholic and celebrated Christmas. And so she always loved Christmas. We always did it like real, big in the sense of we get a tree. My mom would decorate the house. We'd do Christmas cookies. Christmas Eve is a big 7 fishes dinner, which is an Italian tradition. We also celebrated Hanukkah growing up. And my mom gave us, a different little present for 8 nights, and we lit the menorah. And my mom just really loved the winter holidays and Halloween. And so right after she died, it felt pretty impossible. I don't think any of us got a Christmas tree that year. It felt pretty hard. And she died in February, so we had almost a whole year to kind of come to some kind of terms with it, I guess. God, more garbage on the ground. But it didn't feel right to celebrate that first year. I also was going through a divorce, pretty quickly after she died. Whoa, dogs. And then the following years after that, I think it kind of still felt that way. Like, still felt like we didn't want to celebrate, but I wasn't even, come on, we're going to go this way, Henry. I wasn't even here in Tucson. I stopped, honestly, coming because of the dogs. And it was expensive, and I don't think my dad has gotten a Christmas tree since my mom died, actually. So I think it's easier to for him to just pass by the holidays without even acknowledging them. Although he will come to Christmas Eve dinner or whatnot. So okay. So yes, in Atlanta, I spent the holidays alone. God, all of that was to get to the main point that the holidays are really hard for a lot of people. Some years, sometimes they're always hard, because it's such a constant, well, this is my take on it. One of the reasons is that it's such a constant in your face reminder to be with family and loved ones. And some people don't have that. And that's got to be so hard. I mean, right after that first Christmas after my mom died, I avoided public places because of all the fucking Christmas music and Christmas decorations and all the Christmas commercials. And you couldn't avoid Christmas in this country, at least. I've actually never been to another country over Christmas except for Greece. And there, I think I could have skipped Christmas, and it wouldn't have been that hard. But here, it's like a constant reminder. So yeah, Chris, I do understand the feeling of not being with family and being alone, whether by choice or just by, schedule or financial issues. And that's hard. And it makes it very lonely. Me and the dogs had to kind of come up with our own traditions. We got more of like a Christmas bush because I wasn't going to get like a whole big tree. And I tried to celebrate Christmas in my own personal way with the dogs, which meant not doing a lot of the same family traditions. God, I feel like I'm getting choked up. I don't know why. And so moving here, that first Christmas, I was so excited to just be able to be with Jenna and Michael and Mark and my dad and whatnot. And then it was COVID. And so Mark and myself and Michael all had COVID and Jenna didn't. And so the three of us kind of spent a solid week in my house just trying to ride that COVID wave. There was a lot of drinking and fireplace fires. And then, let's see, is this going to be my third Christmas or my fourth? So I moved in October 2021. So Christmas 2021 was my first. Then we had Christmas 2022, which I don't remember, but I'm sure was, I guess, uneventful. And then Christmas 2023 was last year. So Mark and I had just gotten back from Belize and then broke up immediately after Christmas. 2022, I can't really remember that. It must have just been a pretty normal, easy peasy Christmas. Guys, should we do one more loop? We've avoided seeing anybody walking their dog so far, which has been really nice. I don't want to take the chance. Oh yeah, I see dogs. All right, we're not going to. I also have to walk Jinx today. Okay. So it was basically, it was a really nice change. It was obviously that first Christmas with COVID, but I wasn't alone. So I didn't even care that it was COVID. I was like, I have somebody to wake up on Christmas morning and have a mimosa with, people that I love. And that was nice. And this year, I feel very happy to be back together with Mark, and our relationship is strong. And I mean, I'm grateful for a million things, but, and so I really wanted to celebrate Christmas big. I was like ready to decorate before Thanksgiving. And then I don't know, time like is slipping through my fingers. It feels like sometimes. And it's December 9th. I don't have a tree yet. And then my logical brain kicks in and is like, well, trees are like $100. And there's only 2 weeks. And it's not like we have kids. Me and Mark don't really do presents, really. Something small maybe. But rather than do presents, I always would prefer to, like, take a weekend to Bisbee or Flagstaff or, not like an extravagant trip, but let's both put our money towards getting an Airbnb for 2 nights somewhere, close by, take a drive with the dogs, whatever. So no presents really. And so, I don't know. Mark said the other day, he's like, you're such an all or nothing person sometimes. It's true. I find that I generally live like in the gray area, never just black or white. But then with some things, it's like very black and white. Okay, we're at the car, so hang on. I have to unlock the car. My clicker, human GPS, is going to be so disappointed in me. I never fixed it. My fob the rubber has come off. It's totally broken. So now I have to unlock the car manually by sticking the key in. And as you can hear, that sets the alarm off. So I have to start it immediately before I put the dogs in. One day I was complaining about it, and then I was like, wow, I'm an asshole. Like, what a small thing to be. Oh my, the key fob for my car doesn't work. Like, sometimes I do catch myself and I think, come on. You have so many things that are so lucky. You're so lucky for. The fact that your key fob doesn't work, I think, is not something worth complaining over. Wow, that truck just drove by very close to me. So, all right, we are on our way home to make coffee. I think I will publish this in the main feed just so that I may as well give people a preview if they join Patreon of what they'll get several times a week usually. Now, usually this is video, but it was so cold, my fingers were so freezing, I couldn't hold my phone this morning. So just audio, which I know the quality because I'm wearing my Bluetooth headphones. But this is essentially what I do on our morning walks, just kind of ponder wherever my brain goes. It's like a running stream of consciousness type thing, which I'm assuming many people will absolutely hate. Here, you guys want the window down? But, you know, then that's fine. Then don't listen. I actually thought, I'm going to go back to Christmas in a minute, but I actually thought the other day I was watching TikTok in the shower, which, as you know, if you know, it's the only place I do. Indiana cannot stop crying in the car. It's pretty constant. So excuse her crying, but we'll be home in a minute. Yeah. Let me be clear. There's nothing she's crying about. There's no people, no cars, no dogs, nothing on the road. We're like on the little, side street to my house. Nothing, but she just whines. Very, very annoying. Okay, annoyingly vocal. So Christmas. Oh, I'll post this on the main feed as like an extra bonus, so that people who aren't on Patreon can hear what like morning walk and talks are. And sometimes they're much more interesting. And sometimes they're much less interesting. As is life. So I was watching TikTok in the shower, as I do. And I saw a few videos come up about user-generated content and how people in their 40s and 50s, that's who brands really want. Brands don't actually want nowadays, like right now. We're in a current moment in time, I guess, if I'm to believe this TikTok that I saw, where user-generated content from 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds is hot. Like, that's what brands want. Now, I have a TikTok for Death by Southwest. I have my own personal TikTok. I run Jim's TikTok. I have a Daddy Issues TikTok for Daddy Issues podcast. And I have very rarely made a TikTok video or any video that is just like me talking to the camera. Now, I would like to, because I love trying different products and finding products that are affordable and useful. And obviously I like talking, hence this recording and podcast. So, and probably the biggest comment I get from people who listen to the podcast is that I am, or what I'm talking about is relatable. And that is such a huge, huge compliment. I find that to be such a huge, huge compliment. And also, that's what will make me or cause me to watch someone's videos and or follow them on, anywhere, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, because they're relatable, or I feel some type of like kinship towards them just immediately from watching their video. And so that's a comment that I get a lot from people, and it's so incredibly flattering and makes me feel, hold on, you're stuck, Indiana. And makes me feel like, oh, okay, well, if that's true, if I am to believe this, then I could, well, it's multifold. I could access more people and be relatable to and for more people, like a wider group of people, if I did social media. And I don't mean like posting like a promo for the latest episode of Death by Southwest. I mean, those people who essentially do what I'm doing now, just talk to the camera about their thoughts and feelings and all those things and products they love and story times and, hold on, Henry. And so essentially I feel like at the very least TikTok is kind of turned into, depending on what type of videos you watch, it's like a podcast. I mean, you can do 10-minute videos now. So if you find somebody you like, you can just scroll through and they do 10-minute videos. You scroll through their videos. It's like a podcast, but visual. So I don't know why I'm explaining this. It doesn't need to be explained. And then of course, if I could like make some money from social media, dream. or even just get free things to try and then talk about honestly. Extra dreamy. So I saw a couple of videos from various people saying that, yeah, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you could be trying products, making videos, to promote them. And, hold on one sec. Whew. Good morning. So I guess this is going to be a twofer in one, a 2-in-1. Hold on, Indiana. Morning, walk and talk. Oh, she sees bunny rabbits because I never posted yesterday. I didn't finish yesterday's and I didn't post it. But I will post this today. And then I will have new episode. It's like 6:45, and for the entire time that Mark was on vacation, we really didn't wake up before 7 or 8, which got me off my schedule. Fucking freezing. It's like, I think it's 40 degrees maybe. Feels frozen though. There's something that, for those of you who live in Arizona, understand. Come on, Indiana. Watch out for the cactus. Jesus. It's like, I grew up in Chicago, so I understand that 40 degrees is actually, it's cold. But, with the wind chill in Chicago, it was like 20 degrees below zero. It's different. It's a different kind of cold, and the best way I can describe it is like a wet cold to a dry cold. So it's like a very dry cold here, and I won't say one is worse than the other, because I haven't been to Chicago in many years, but it's like a down to your bones kind of like sharp cold. And like I said, I haven't been to Chicago since I left. But Georgia has kind of a similar cold. It's more mild, but a wet cold. It's like, well, I don't know why I'm explaining it, because if you're listening and you live in a place with wet coldness, you know. And if you don't, I don't know how to explain it to you best. But like in Flagstaff, it's a more wet cold because it's not the same, because it's at, 8,000 feet elevation or 6,000 feet elevation. It's such a different climate than here in Tucson, where we're like 5 feet elevation. And, people go snowboarding in like tank tops in Flagstaff sometimes because it's cold. There's snow, but it's sunny and it's not as deeply cold. That was way too much conversation on coldness. So I apologize for that. Micah sent me a great quote. I'll probably read it on the actual episode today rather than this random morning walk and talk that would usually only go on Patreon, but I'm censoring myself a little bit so that it can go everywhere. Come on, Indiana. Because why not? I always post these only on Patreon. I may as well offer it to everyone. Come on. Stop. Hold on, guys. We gotta get around this corner. Brr. Okay. Micah sent me a great quote, because a lot of times on bonus episodes or Patreon only episodes, I'm just rambling. And obviously I've shared emails and reviews that I've gotten where people are like, how self-centered are you? Who wants to hear you talk about yourself for an hour? And stuff like that, which I can't argue with, truthfully, because this is generally not the type of podcast that I listen to anymore. I used to listen to, like, when Dax Shepard first came out. I worked for Anna Faris, so I listened to her and podcast, and those were both Justin Long and his brother. I haven't listened to that in forever. I should. But like those podcasts are very much, now they're celebrities, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. But it's very much them kind of, rambling about whatever happened that day, that week. That was in the early days of Dax. I haven't listened to him in years. But I know in the early days before the podcast was like such a hit, there was a lot of just him and Monica just shooting the shit. So where am I going with this? So for as many people as I've gotten comments or emails or whatever, DMs from people being like, how can you talk about yourself so much? And whatever the most recent, Mary from Montana, the most recent one, who emailed me back actually after I talked about her on the podcast. She certainly won't listen to this. I know that. And that's okay. Because I might not listen to this either if this was a podcast that I listened to. Anyways, Micah sent me a quote from another podcaster that I had never heard of. And let's see, I saved the picture. I took a screenshot. Let's see, because I'll fuck it up if I don't read it exactly. I'll probably read this on the actual real podcast today too, so forgive the duplicate. But, so somebody had asked, I guess this podcaster does something called weekend chats. And I don't know if that's something she does in the podcast or social media, but it shows that a listener asked, how do you manage the feelings of nobody cares what I have to say? And she responded to this and said, I care, and the rest doesn't really matter. That's a recent discovery of mine. I'm sure lots of people couldn't care less, and that's not who I am for. I'm for me and whomever else might find their way to and enjoy my rambling. And that resonates with me. I don't think I have to explain why, but I clearly have a tendency to ramble. I'm hoping that over time I'll become better at editing myself for like when necessary or appropriate for the actual episodes. I think I've done a better job lately of not talking too long in the beginning of regular episodes, because the regular episodes are the episodes that are, expected to be just true crime, and that the, people who are here only for the true crime listen to. So I've tried to. I think I've done a bit better. Bonus episodes, I mean, that's the bonus episodes are, that quote resonates so much because they're for me. They're for me and for you. But I live alone. I work alone, basically, at home. Oh boy. Hang on, guys. Henry. Enough. Stop it. Oh my God. Stop. Stop. This is great. Sorry, guys, that you had to hear all that. Hey. So the dogs were just going so nuts. I'll tell you, I know there's a car coming. Oh boy. This recording has gotten bad. My coat just broke. That's great. So there's this woman. I'm going to drastically change topics here into that little interlude. Okay, fine. People are so unfriendly sometimes. I've had two experiences of unfriendly. So there's this woman who I've actually never seen her face because she's always jogging, and I'm usually in front of her and she'll pass me by. She has a black Portuguese water dog, standard poodle. It's a poodle-ish looking dog. It's a floofy, delicate looking dog. And Henry hates this dog. Don't know why. Henry does not always bark at other dogs. Henry generally will bark at other dogs briefly or whine. Usually because he wants to get to know them. He wants to see them, meet them. It's not a great way to meet people to be barking at them, but that's what he does. And then he'll meet them, and he generally gets along great with other dogs. He rarely meets them because his bark and the way he looks is so aggressive that most people are like, oh, keep that dog away from me, which I understand. Indiana's too small to seem dangerous, I guess, which is funny because she's actually the only one of any of my dogs who've actually, like, drawn blood, like, gotten into a fight with Butch, my dad's dog, with Izzy, with Henry, and has drawn blood from all of them because she's so fast and scrappy. But she's much smaller and thinner. I mean, she's 42 pounds. Henry's 82 pounds. So she just seems less scary. And she does a lot of like that husky yipping, like whines and stuff rather than barks. But Henry looks scary. If I didn't know him, I'd be scared if he was barking at me like that. Anyways, I just for the first time saw this woman's face, which is interesting because I always thought this was going to sound rude, but I'm going to say it. From behind, like when I see her just, running past me, she has very, very, very long blonde hair that she wears in like a braid. She's tiny. And so I don't know. I thought she was young. I assumed she was definitely younger than me. She might be. But then I just saw her face. And now I take that back. That's not meant I don't mean, it doesn't matter. She's not listening to this. I don't mean that in a rude way. I just mean she looks older than I expected her to. Anyways, Mark and I talked about this on the dirt roads before I fell and ate shit the other day. Is like walking etiquette. So she knows who I am. She's seen these dogs many times, every single time. No matter how close or far away she is, as soon as they see her dog, they lose their minds, my dogs. And it's just all I can do is stand there with their leashes pulled as tightly as possible and hope that they don't drag me out into the middle of the road. So, I don't know. To me, the dirt roads, I think I've explained, are a grid. So this won't mean anything to anybody, but it's Mountain Street is a main like paved road that kind of contains the dirt roads on one side. So it goes Mountain Street, and then the first dirt road parallel to that is Vine, and then you go over another one, and then it's Cherry, and then you go over another one, and it's Martin, or no, yes, Martin. So there's three streets going, north and south, and then the other streets are Lind, that goes perpendicular to Mountain, Lind, and then Kleindale, and then Greenlee. And so it's those three roads going east-west. And it's all contained within the main road of Mountain, Fort Lowell, Campbell, and Prince. Okay? So if you live in Tucson, that should make sense. If you don't, just know that it's basically a giant square with, three roads going east to west and three roads going north to south through it. You can make your way through this if you're walking. You can go any which way and end up at the same. There are, 10 different ways to get to one specific spot. Because before I understood the dirt roads, like the first few times I was in here, I was like, well, maybe this person is walking behind me because they have to get home, and this is the only way to get to their home. No, that's incorrect. But you could go 8 different ways. Maybe not 8, but you could go up and then cut through this one and cut through this one. And if you include the main roads, you've got even more options. Good girl, Indiana. What a good girl. She's really getting better when cars drive by super close. She used to panic. So walking etiquette, like in the dirt road, this is just dirt road specific. If you know, now I get it's not your problem, but if you know that my dogs lose their ever-loving minds when you and your dog so much as, well, when you pass us by on the same small dirt road, why not go one road over to avoid it? I do that. If I turn to go, up Vine and I see this family that walks their big giant black dog sometimes, I'm like, oh no, because I don't want their dog to freak out. I don't want my dog to freak out. So I'll turn around. I'll go back the way I came. I'll go the other direction. I'll loop around a different way. It just seems polite. But the number of times I tell you that people in here, and we don't see them that often, so this is just like this is a real, forgive me, but it's like what, first world problem that I'm describing here. I understand this is not a very relatable topic, but I'm going to say it anyways. How many times in here people see me and the dogs coming, or I see them coming, and they continue on? Fine, don't love it, but that's fine. The worst is what this woman did, and I've talked about this to Mark, and I think he got it, but he hadn't experienced it. So when we were in here last week, we're walking, this woman with a little white dog that, the dogs bark at, but it's not that big of a deal, not like what you just heard. She's coming down one street. We're going perpendicular to each other. We're on perpendicular streets. Really pulling out my 4th grade math words here. And she turns. Our dogs see her. They're whining, barking a little bit. She has a lot of options at this crossroads that she's at. She can go 3 other directions rather than walking right behind us. But she chooses to walk right behind us. About, 20 feet back behind us. So our dogs cannot, and I get it. It's an our dog problem. Our problem. Our dogs are the misbehaved ones. Her dog is yipping, but it's a teeny little dog, so it's much less bothersome. But our dogs cannot take 3 steps without looking behind them and whining because she's 20 feet behind it. So I was like, Mark, let's just stop, let her pass us by. So she does. And I pull Henry way to the side, and he is great. He doesn't make a single peep. He's surprisingly really good with small dogs. Indiana's losing her shit. And the woman says to Mark, and Mark has Indiana, the woman says to Mark, is she friendly? And he said, yeah, she's pretty friendly. I mean, she is, I guess. And so they meet, and Indiana's fine. Once Indiana meets a dog, she's generally, she'll stop barking. She's totally fine. And we let the woman pass. Not a big deal. Really, not that big of a deal. But I just find it so freaking irritating. Turn a different way. Nobody's coming on these dirt roads where you see a person, once in a while. Nobody's coming here to meet other dog walkers and get their dogs acclimated to being around other dogs and people. You're coming here on the dirt roads because you don't want to see people or other dogs. If you did, there's a billion bike paths, washes, parks, even right here, you could just walk out on Mountain Road and see a ton more people. But if you're in here, I have to assume you're in here because you want it's beautiful. You want some peace and quiet. You don't want to be running into people left and right. Which is why it's so confusing to me why people choose to like walk. And it has happened to me multiple times where somebody just chooses to walk directly behind us. Like, what are you doing? That was an anticlimactic rant, but it's where my brain went. Anyways, what you just heard, though I probably will not cut out of this, is Henry losing his mind at that black floofy dog. So I'm hoping we don't run into again, because I think I'm going to do an extra loop today. Should I? I do have to go walk Jinx. We will. Anyways, I completely don't remember where I was before the whole floofy dog incident. Maybe talking about the quote Micah sent me and the rant and rambling. Anyways, I ramble. I guess that was the point. And that quote reminds me that like the people who want to listen will listen. And the people who don't will stop listening. And sure, they might complain about it or send an email or leave a review. That's fine. But I do agree. Bonus episodes, a lot of people don't listen to them because they know it's probably going to be personal stories, rants, just ponderings from my brain, unless I'm doing a mini crime story, and you'll probably still get a lot more rambling on that. But on regular episodes, I'm trying to limit that. Great, that's fine. I guess that's it. That's fine. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah. But I like that quote. I'm going to print it out and keep it posted by my desk, which is very organized. Well, the drawers are not, but the office itself, I'll have to take some pictures. Because yesterday I got I hate this saying, but it's the first one that comes to mind, like bug up my butt or hair up my butt. I hate that saying. But that's appropriate for this. When I got home from walking Jinx, I went to the grocery store and ran into Michael, which was lovely. Uh-oh. We have a big truck happening. Maybe we are not going to do an extra loop. And then I came home and do you guys ever feel like, I felt like my house was like closing in on me? And I'm not a hoarder. I don't have like a ton of, oh God. What is this guy doing? Okay, well, I guess we're not doing another loop because he is. Now, see, I'm disproving my own point. Now, he's on one of the roads that we were going to turn down. All right, we will do a loop. We'll just go this way, guys. Let's just go this way. Morning. So, I'm not a cluttery person. My house is not big. I have acquired a lot of stuff since I moved here. I know I talked about this recently. Come on, Indiana. We're going to do a little bit longer. I've been gifted furniture from people, which is so lovely. I have found furniture outside and fixed it up. I haven't bought a piece of furniture since I moved here. But yeah, life, you just acquire things. And my house is pretty small, so, and very small closets. So, I've acquired things, and, there's no pantry. So I found these shelves, a year or two ago. They look like kitchen shelves to me, so I made it like my kitchen pantry. Because I don't have a pantry. So I bought bins and got it all organized because it's sitting, like the spices and the canned goods are all sitting out on the shelf. So I wanted it to look organized. But it wasn't enough room when Mark was living here because he cooked so much. We had so much stuff. So he gave me more metal shelves that went in the office, and that became the office pantry. And I don't know, everything just felt really cluttered. I felt like I had 85 billion things on my desk, and everything felt gross. And I'm a hoarder of one thing: makeup and beauty products, because I love them, but because I also can't really afford to buy all the like good products that I want to. I subscribe to Ipsy, which is like $15 a month maybe. And every month they send me this little like box with, I don't know, 5 or 6 random beauty products in it. Mini ones, small sizes. But I would always keep them all because I was like, well, if I really liked one, I would use them up quickly because they're like trial sizes. But if I really liked one, I'd keep it because I think, well, then I'll remember and I'll buy it one day when I can afford to buy it. And that never happened. And I end up with drawers of lightly used trial size beauty products. And it's so hoarderish. So, and makeup, I love makeup. I don't often wear it. Well, that's not true. I don't often wear it because I'm often at home by myself. But when I go out, I almost always do. So, what was I going to say? So, and then when I was married, my mother-in-law was very generous with buying gifts, and I got lots of makeup gifts and good makeup. Like, I shop Target or Walmart makeup, and she got me like, Bobbi Brown and Smashbox and Tarte and good makeup, Estee Lauder. And a lot of it I never use, but I can't part with it. Even to this day, like the giant eyeshadow palettes and stuff, like I can't part with them because they're good makeup. And that's so stupid. Because why keep something if you're not going to use it? But that's why, yesterday I was talking about wanting to do like, just that I'm going to just start making TikTok videos because fuck it, why not? I always feel like, it's stupid. Nobody gives a shit what I have to say. But I do that on the I talk about everything on the podcast. You guys who are actually listening do give a shit or like it as background noise or whatever. A lot of people don't give a shit. Okay, you guys want to head back? Nobody seems to want to keep walking here. But like, if I'm going to do that on my actual podcast that I care very much about, why wouldn't I do that on TikTok, which I don't give a shit about? I never post on TikTok. I mean, I'm not even that good at posting on Instagram. But I do try constantly. I try beauty products, health and wellness products, household items. Like I'm ordering from Amazon and or just put things that I come across in life, like a lot. And it's all affordable stuff because I can't afford to really, buy anything that I don't need, I guess is the best way to put it. So like, why not? Why wouldn't I start posting that shit? And maybe it'll catch on. Maybe I'll get some free shit. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand every single person in the whole world who uses social media thinks that. Like, well, I'll start posting. It'll catch on. I'll make money. No, I don't even have any pretenses about making money from it. I would just love to get free shit. And I would try it and give honest feedback on it. So I thought about doing it forever. I love editing videos. I'm already paying for all this shit and trying all these different products. I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to. Not sure how we got. Oh, here we go with another dog. Teeny little thing. Don't do it, Henry. You two stop it. Morning. Hey, that was pretty good, guys. Not bad. Morning. Hey, we got a little whining from Indiana, a small bark from Henry. That's pretty good, guys. You see what I mean? So that we passed each other on this street, her going the opposite direction as me. And you heard, I don't know if you heard Indiana whine or not, but very little compared to the big black floopy dog where my arms almost fall off. Anyhow, I don't know how I got to TikTok or wanting to get free shit. But I'm going to be honest about that too. Like, I do want free shit. Who doesn't? I guess I should have taken like pictures and videos of all the shit I threw out yesterday first. 4 garbage bags of like makeup. That's how I got there. Makeup, beauty, that type of shit. Because I just was like, I have to get rid of stuff. I have to. This is so stupid. And I did. And I cleaned out bathroom cabinets and drawers, office pantry, these little shelves when you first walk into my house. And before I knew, and I love cleaning and organizing. I love it. And time just flies. I just had on TV in the background this show called The Sex Lives of College Girls, which sounds a lot more scandalous than it actually is. It's really not. It's by Mindy Kaling. Funny. It's cute. It's on HBO. Okay, we're at the car. Hang on. My key fob thing, you know. Start the car. Oop. Okay. There we go. Anyhow, now that we're at the car, I'll probably end this and go home and actually post it, unlike yesterday. Go ahead. I do have to go walk Jinx today. Oh, brr. Poor little fingers are freezing. I do have to go walk Jinx today, so perhaps I will do another walk and talk with just Patreon, but this will be for everyone, which I'm sure so many listeners who are here for the true crime will be thrilled about. But yeah, I kind of have to keep reminding myself, like, huh, I don't have to listen. They don't. I'm doing this, yes, for myself, and then of course for whoever likes it, enjoys it, or like hate listens. I don't know if that's a thing, but maybe some people like hate listen to this. Like this stupid woman talking about rambling, her brain goes in 18 different directions and her dogs are barking and there's hang on, hold on. Crossing the street. There you go. Here, window open. I did when I lived alone. I will say this is the last thing I'll say. I mean, not forever, just for this recording. And I was alone all the time, literally all the time. I thought how nice it would be to have a podcast that was somebody basically just mic'd up through their whole day. Like watching TV, maybe not watching TV, I guess, but like working. Maybe they're talking out loud to themselves. Maybe they have some background music on or a podcast or something on. Cooking, Indiana, back up. Just everything that they did in their whole day recorded and then published for people who are alone and don't want to feel alone. Because I always thought like I feel like it would give the idea that you're spending your day with someone. If you just kind of put them in your ear as background noise as they go through their day and you go through your day, maybe it feels less lonely. I I never obviously did that, but I did think about it. It would be interesting to see how something like that came out. Like if I just got my headphones in my ears and this audio voice recording on all day long. Or, obviously not like when you go to the bathroom or, I guess not watching a TV show. Ah, shit, I was going to go to the store and get sparkling water. We're not going to do that. We're already home. I always thought that would be cool. And I feel like this is reminiscent of that. The bonus episodes, at least. I'm walking the dogs. I'm getting home. I'm going to make some coffee. And, I'm recording through most of that. Because I think that loneliness is a bigger epidemic than a lot of people realize or think that it is. Wow, I closed that window last night. It is so not closed. So someone is either trying to break in or I did a bad job of closing it. Okay, come in, guys. Let's push it closed. It's like wide open. Jesus. I don't even know how it ever closes because there's a giant metal thing in the way. Nope, that's going to be a Mark problem. Anyhow, I am home now. I'm going to make some coffee, feed these wild beasts, and then go walk Jinx. And then I have a bunch of work to do today, both for the podcast and for Jim and for Brandon. So I will be back with, come here, Indiana, would you like me to take your leash off? Oh, Henry wants me to take his leash off. Oh, so tight, buddy. Sorry. Come here, Indiana. Hey, could I do it before you drink water, you think? Thank you. Okay. Well, I will leave you with that. And hope everyone is having a delightful Tuesday morning. I'm going to get this exported and published with absolutely zero editing, which doesn't mean I don't care. It just means it doesn't matter what it means. I'm just not going to edit this because then it just wouldn't be as authentic. That's what I'm telling myself in my head. That's actually not it. It's just extremely time consuming. And I can't do that until I'm truthfully making money from this. I can't. I don't have the time to do it. So, but one might argue I might have more listeners and make money from this if I put more time into editing it. That could be said. So that might be a truth, a hard truth that I need to look at. Okay, guys, I know everyone's dying to see my beautiful drawers and shelves. So I'll take some pictures and show you. And I'll talk to you guys later, and I love you all very, very much. Okay, bye.